time is now 7:43, and would anyone like to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to fill the vacant council seat with Mr. Tony Ring.
Councilmember Campbell has properly made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Bakke. Are there any other nominations? If not, Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bakke,
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman.
Yes. All right, motion passes. Tony, welcome. To the other two, again, we appreciate the fact that you would put your name in the hat. We appreciate you guys coming in and sharing with us your ideas. I would strongly encourage you guys not come back. There, from time to time, we do have open seats out there that do need to be filled, and then also we do have a couple of boards as well that we're always looking for members for too as well. So certainly appreciate you guys showing your support tonight. With that said, Tony, if you would like to come to the front. This is where you get to be sworn in. So, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Tony Ring,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter and ordinances
the Charter and ordinances
of the Village of Georgetown,
of the Village of Georgetown,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will faithfully,
faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of a member of the Georgetown Village Council
as a member of the Georgetown Village Council
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have a seat right over there by a piece of packet for you. All right. Okay, now we are moving on to general business in your packet. On page 4, you're going to see the meeting minutes from our December 12th meeting. Take a look at those. If there are any edits, please let us know. If not, when finished, we will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to accept the minutes.
Councilmember Campbell has made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Hanselman. Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bakke,
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman,
Yes.
Councilmember Ring.
Abstain.
Yes, very good. All right, motion passes. On page 6, is that page 6 actually? I think it's page, oh, there's 2 page 6s. Page 6 times 2. There are the meeting minutes from the January 9th work session. Take a look at those. Again, once finished. If there are any edits, please let us know. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Councilmember Bakke has made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Mays. Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bakke,
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman,
Yes.
Councilmember Ring.
Abstain.
Perfect, motion passes. Next item on the list is appointment to the Zoning Appeals Board. So with the appointment of Tony, that opens up a seat for a member at large on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Plus there was already a vacant seat that I do need to get filled. I am not ready to fill that seat tonight, or those 2 seats tonight, but if there's anyone up here, first of all, if there's anyone in the audience or at home that is interested in one of these positions, please reach out to anybody sitting up here. Secondly, I would ask of my team up here as well, if you know of somebody that would be a good appointment for one of these positions, please let me know. I would be hopeful that we could fill both of these seats at the next meeting. Okay? All right, page 9, there's a resolution. Councilmember Campbell, can you please read that by title?
A resolution authorizing the village administrator to enter into an agreement with the Public Entities Pool of Ohio for casualty liability, fire, and property damage insurance.
Perfect, thank you. Mr. Dotson?
So this is something we do every year. This is higher, this renewal, just because we had all departments come in, had a long meeting with the manager of our coverage, plus we had the risk manager come in. We were really undercovered on a lot of our inventory, so we've bumped those up as needed, and so this is still, I think it's a good amount for what we have covered.
All right, any questions for Travis? So essentially, this is our insurance for the village. And as you heard, Travis had to really get that updated because it sounds like we were not sitting very well with what we had coverages for. So appreciate your work there, Travis, in uncovering that.
I do have a question.
Yes, absolutely.
When you say inventory, is that vehicles or is that just,
Our vehicles were covered pretty well, but items under $5,000, which we have a lot of, they were really undercovered. So.
All right. Any other questions? All right, if not, I would entertain a motion. Councilmember Hanselman has properly made a motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Campbell. Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell.
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Mays.
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman.
Yes.
Councilmember Baki.
Yes.
Councilmember Ring.
yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Is there, sorry.
Resolution 1399, 1399.
Thank you. All right, and those are page numbers here. That was insurance. Okay. Next one is on page 10, another ordinance. Councilmember Campbell, if you could read it by title.
An ordinance setting new fines to be charged for violations relating to speeding in a school zone for the village of Georgetown Mayor's Court and declaring an emergency.
Chief, tell us more. Chief Enla?
Oh, you ready for that?
Well, no, this is your ordinance for the school zone. What-
Okay. Yeah, so basically, I think it's been kind of an oversight really because most departments have increased fines for school zones. And it's kind of like work zones. When you go through a work zone, if you get pulled over and get a ticket, it's usually double the fine and double the points. We found, as we were going through our ordinances and our fines and things, that has never been raised. So it's the same amount of cost as speeding 60 miles an hour in a 25 versus going 60 miles an hour in a school zone. That being said, we've been hitting the school zone pretty heavily. And I can tell you just this week, we got a couple cars going 48 to 50 miles an hour in the school zone, which is wild. So it's not an attempt to get more money. It's an attempt to, unfortunately, the only way to slow people down is to, hit them where, the money is, I guess, but per se. But yeah, basically that's going to put two different fine amounts. I think they're written down in the paper. I can't remember.
Yeah,
offhand.
1 to 14 miles over is $100, 15 miles is 150, 15 miles and over $150. I think I read somewhere when the emails were going around, it was like $40 before
Yeah,
a fee,
yeah.
which is insane. I mean, that's not really a deterrent.
Yeah, and this was just, we basically got those fines based off of other villages around the area, and it still puts us less than what it would be as if you sped in a work zone. So I felt like that was appropriate and it needed to be done to help encourage slowing down in our school zone, especially since we have two.
Absolutely.
motion to approve.
Councilmember Mays has made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Barnhart. Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mays.
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart. Yes. Councilmember Baki.
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman,
Yes.
Councilmember Ring.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number,
Ordinance number, sorry, we're done wrong one. 1384.
1384. Motion passes, thank you. On page 11, you're gonna see another ordinance. Councilmember Campbell, can you please read this by title?
An ordinance repealing ordinance 1345 and amending and adopting in their entirety chapter 50, 51, 52, and 53 of the Village of Georgetown Municipal Utility Ordinance.
All right, so first and foremost, this is the first reading. Solicitor, can you give us a little more?
Yeah,
here?
one of the reasons we didn't do it as an emergency is there's nothing pending, as we discussed at the last meeting, because we solved some of those issues. But I also wanted to give you an opportunity to read section 5205C. That's the language that if you turn to that you'll see that I inserted based on our discussions we had. So I would encourage you to read through that, make sure everyone's comfortable. I will say that I am not into this area of construction, and if there's some better term that one of you who know more about that, Mike particular, might know something, but make sure I've articulated this clearly and that there's not, something else that needs to be said. If any of you think of something that you think should be inserted before the second reading, if you reach out to Travis or myself, we'll make sure it gets in there, and we can change that and amend it before you vote on it in final form at your next meeting. But I think I did my best to try to articulate everything I had written down at the last meeting that everyone said.
And them increases that were spoke about in that, they only affect when you come in after this is passed, right? So like there is no increase for current residents,
For the sewer?
well, all the tap fees and different things.
Oh, that stayed the same as it was.
Yeah, we didn't change that either.
Okay,
The only
okay,
thing
I didn't
that-
know if it changed or not, I didn't know what the current ones were, but I.
The only
seen
thing that changed here is that section,
Okay.
unless you did something else, I don't know.
And that was in regards to our discussion last month, is the last two meetings in regards to people that need to work on their sewer where something's blocked at the road.
Right.
I think we came to the conclusion that we would do the blacktop and,
Yeah, it said in there, I believe, that we would cut up the.
yeah, and that was,
Yep.
yep, that's what's changed.
But I'll be honest, if someone, Mike, if you see some better wording or something more clear, let me know.
It was good.
Okay.
At least it was.
I tried, so I wrote down everything everybody said.
All right, so that was a first reading. Certainly read through it, just make sure you understand and what you wanted is in there, and then next month will be the final reading. All right, page 62 of your packet is a resolution, and Kelly, once you get there, would you read that by title?
A resolution of the Village of Georgetown, Ohio, supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Centennial America 250-Ohio.
Travis?
So, this is the upcoming event that's coming to America in 2026. Just announcing our support, which is required by the end of January, so that we would be eligible for any grants that may or may not come along to support that event.
Any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Make a
Can you
motion.
read it by title?
Yeah, totally did.
I tried, I butchered the number.
Did somebody make a motion? Councilmember Mays has properly made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Campbell. Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bucky,
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman,
Yes.
Councilmember Ring,
Yes.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays.
Yes.
All right, resolution number.
1400.
All right, fantastic. And then we have two additional add-ins. They are in front of you. The first one we're gonna do is the two-page document. Kelly, once you pull that up, if you could read that by title. Two-page.
It was the two separate pages from the packet.
All,
Sorry, yours, are they not stapled?
No.
It's the one for court costs.
But there's two different.
Yeah, yes, two add-on,
Okay,
yeah.
I was thinking 2 pages on one. Okay.
Read the court costs, yes.
Yeah.
All right. An ordinance setting the amount charged for court calls for the Village of Georgetown Mayor's Court and declaring an emergency.
All right, solicitor?
Essentially, as you know, there are fines, like you just changed, and then there are mandatory fees that we're required to pay to the state for various things. There's something called the Mayor's Court Computer Fund, which the state regulates money going into, and that's used for our computer systems, and the state provides updates and information for that. We used to contribute, and Tara, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were contributing $5 per ticket towards that fund, but we are now required to contribute $20 per ticket up to that. So if you think about that, that would raise the cost of court costs, but what we've done instead, as you'll see on there, is we've absorbed some of that from the money we take and only charged an additional $10 in court costs to residents. So we probably could have gone higher, but we kind of split the difference and found a way to keep court costs under control, which, you know, anybody that gets a speeding ticket, sometimes the court costs are more than the fine. But, you know, these are regulated by the state, and then we have to cover our costs.
And that covers our magistrate. The
That comes out of that.
101 would cover.
That comes out of those fees too. You know, police officer time.
I'm just trying to make it clear, that 101 don't go to the village like they get it. They still gotta pay the police officers through the cost of being here and also the magistrate that's proceeding with it.
All costs that are associated with the court. That
Right.
includes certified mail notices, everything.
All right, I'll entertain a motion if there are no additional questions.
Make a motion to approve.
Councilmember Baki has made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Hanselman. Tara?
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Baki,
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman, Councilmember Ring.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number.
1385, 1385.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. There's a second piece of literature in front of you. Councilmember Campbell, can you please read this by title?
An ordinance repealing ordinance 1383 and making a supplemental appropriation for the Village of Georgetown, Brown County, Ohio.
Mr. Dotson?
Yeah, so, the Monday before the last council meeting, when we were getting the agenda ready for, publication, we were working from home that day because of the, snow emergency, so I created this as a placeholder so that Terry could get the, title on the agenda to go out to the paper, and then I failed to get with Greg to update the proper codes for this, supplemental appropriation, so it was incorrect. So we just need to appeal or repeal last meeting's ordinance and then replace it with this one.
Oh,
So this is for that 100,000 for the electric engineering, and the 17,000 goes for the streetscape. That's part of the streetscape with Structure Point.
For like their fees.
Yeah, part of the engineering fees.
Any questions? If not,
And the electrical, I'm sorry, just to be clear, the electrical was for covering, for the work going on the square?
No,
in the future,
that's
or
engineering
is that
for the
like the
replace
dock?
those, putting in those tie-ins so that we can feed from another direction whenever there's a power outage.
it's all part of the 2-year study that we had done with the plan in place, part of a longer-term plan to upgrade our electrical.
Right.
And get it flowing in
So
that direction.
apologize for the error.
All right, I will entertain a motion if somebody would like to make
I'll
one.
make a motion to approve it.
Councilmember Mays has made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Baki. Tara, roll call, please.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman,
Yes.
Councilmember Ring,
Yes.
Councilmember Baki,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays.
Yes.
Thank you. That's
Ordinance
why
number-
government should not work from home.
Ordinance 1386, 1386.
Fantastic, thank you.
Stop.
All right, on page 64, you will see your fiscal report. Take a look at that. If there are any questions, we will try to answer those. If not, we may have to follow up. On page 66, you will see your report for Mayor's Court. And then on page 68, you will see a zoning report from our code enforcement officer. If there are any questions, I will entertain those. If not,
I was just curious,
Yeah.
on the payment listing, PNR Electric, was that like, transformers or something, or was they doing line repair, or?
Let's see, what is this?
For a total of $15,416.
Oh, yeah, that's a inventory.
Oh, inventory, okay.
And then on page 65, the B.L. Anderson Company for 11883.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Fourth one down.
Yeah, I would assume that is also, inventory, I can double check that, but I'm pretty sure that was inventory as well.
And I would assume the 2 lines above that is for inventory.
That was
as well?
testing for our, transformers, our substation transformers. We had those oil tested.
any other questions? All right, we will move right along to roundtable. I'm going to start to my left with Councilmember Campbell.
Let's see, I had something for Travis. On Ohio Street, they fixed, I think the last council meeting, they fixed the water main break. The gravel's getting low again, so maybe have them go out, seems it warms up just a hair, and maybe we can pack that in again. Saw some cars hitting it pretty hard today. And then other than that, I talked to you guys here and there. I would like to move the time to start the regular council meetings to 6 instead of 7. Just like our work session time start. I want to see if anybody thought about that.
We'll second that motion if that was a motion made.
Was that a motion? I don't know if that was a motion yet.
I think it's easier for people, instead of starting one meeting at 6 and one meeting at 7, it provides some uniformity. So if you want to attend a meeting, it's at 6 o'clock regardless of which meeting you're going to attend.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to move the start time to the regular council meeting for 6, starting at 6 instead of 7.
So Councilmember Campbell has properly made the motion to move the start time of all council meetings to 6 p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Ring. All right, any further discussion? You guys are easy tonight. If not, Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Baki,
Yes.
Councilmember Hanselman,
Yes.
Councilmember Ring.
Yes.
Motion passes, although I see there might be a
No,
question.
you're
No,
good.
we're
Go
good.
ahead.
We're good? Okay.
We'll check.
All right, so what that means is starting next meeting, all meetings are at 6 o'clock. So we're gonna have to remind each other, and we need to do some marketing on Facebook. Okay,
Yes, that's all right.
all right. Councilmember Hanselman?
I did have a couple residents, which they're kind of biased because they're on South Apple Street where I live, that asked if it would be a possibility for the residential properties on that street to have like designated parking spots in the evenings, like after like 5 p.m. Like if you could identify them with like a sticker to where they would have designated spots to park.
Permit parking,
Mhm.
is what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So that's complicated, because even residences, throughout the village, if they put in parking in front of their house, street side parking, that's public parking, so, it's hard to differentiate.
You could probably put a sign that said resident parking after 5 PM. But I think the hard part, like Travis said too, is you need to have them in the cars and visitors and all that. This would allow that. I mean, that's the best I think you can do, a sign.
Right.
So you could just bore a hole and drive a signpost and have a sign made, right, and then go that route and,
Yeah, we'd have to consider what would be the best way to do that. I don't know if we want a sign in front of every spot.
Are you just talking the historic district part of that road, or are you talking?
Well, like, the Potters that live next door, they had asked, and then on down from them, that next building has like apartments, and, you know, there's minimal parking, but if we have, like, for us, like, we own 2 addresses, and we have technically like 3 parking spots out front, but we'll have 5 people that drive. So just trying to ensure that, like, the residents that, like, live on that street have a couple designated spots where they know they can park, like, after, like, office hours, like, for the courthouse and, like, in the evenings.
Joe, is there any other communities you deal with that have this problem?
Yes, yes, and some of them come up with elaborate tags like you're talking about, which are very cumbersome, because if it's not in your kid's vehicle or yours, or then the mother-in-law comes and she doesn't have a tag that she's at your house. That's why I said the only thing I've seen, we did something recently in Springdale where they did put up a sign that said resident parking only, and it was a vacant lot kind of at the end of a street and everything. So, I mean, I think you could do that. The hardest part's gonna fall on Sean is enforcement. You know, just because it says resident parking only, you won't know if it's a resident or not unless a resident comes and says, hey, they went in there, you know, they didn't go to our place. But I think your point is, we all know that after 5 o'clock, those spaces are open out there. So, you know, are you having an issue late at night with there being a space?
With the snow, has been difficult the last few weeks, like, I know there were a couple of days that I came home and I ended up parking, down by the Republican building, just to have a spot to get in the house, and I had groceries, so I had to walk quite a ways, but just some of the other people on the street had addressed and asked, like, what the possibilities were with, like, the change of the streetscape, if there was any way to designate spots. So,
That's kind of a bad thing, because like even with like my restaurant, when I took the time to clean all that out, and I knew when I did it that all the people from the courthouse going to be parking there the next day. So I went ahead and chopped out some of the courthouse while I was over there, but you can't do the whole square. I'd have loved to.
yeah.
But just to piggyback on what you've been talking about, it would be nice if we could make an action when it does get snow like that, once we get the roads caught up, that we haul the snow out so that it ain't so cumbersome. I mean, if we got a long 2-3 week period of cold weather, those are like icebergs out there. And if we could just spend one day scooping them up with the village, I know that adds more to our
No, and we did,
work,
but it took a few days for us to get to that.
Yeah.
I think we're so out of the habit of having big snows.
Right, but that would probably help a lot for you right there, I think.
Can I add to that, since you brought my name up? Yeah, so I think some of the issues that you're gonna have with that is kind of what you mentioned. We've had issues with people on the outside of the square that are always fighting over public parking. I think if you set that precedence there, you're gonna have the
It
same
opens
issue
up
on the
a can of
outside,
worms.
because they're gonna want their own parking. We've had a lot of that in the west side of the numbered streets, 3rd, 2nd, that kind of area, where they don't have driveways specifically, and they rely on public parking. We've actually had people put up their own signs, but, you know, we don't enforce them, but they're gonna expect us to enforce that if we do. Just something to think about there.
Anything else? All right, thank you. Councilman Barnhart?
No, nothing.
Nothing? Councilmember Baki?
Nothing.
Councilmember Rain, first meeting. Anything for roundtable?
No, head spinning.
All right, Councilmember Mays.
The only thing I wanted to bring up was the ice skating event has been rescheduled for February the 1st. Come out, have a great time. A lot of
What
fun.
time is that?
3 to 6.
3 to 6.
What is it?
Ice skate event on the square, February 1st, 3 to 6.
An Irish state.
Ice.
Real
Ice
legit
skating.
ice skating.
Like we did last year.
On the ponds. I might bring one of them horns in here.
Anything else, Mike?
No, that'll be it for these.
All right, we will go to Chief Enlow.
Yes, please. So I'm gonna read through this real quick. It's just a year-end report that I wanted to give you guys from what we accomplished, last year. If you have any questions on it, you can stop me and ask, or hopefully maybe you'll be able to come to my new office soon and ask me there. But, yeah, so I'll go through this real quick, but, the Georgetown Police Department is pleased to present its year-end report for 2024. This document outlines the department's key achievements, operational statistics, challenges, and goals for the upcoming year. Our focus remains on ensuring safety for all the residents of Georgetown, community partnerships, and creating a better work environment for staff while upgrading equipment and training. Our mission statement, the Georgetown Police Department is dedicated to providing the best quality service to the citizens of the village of Georgetown. We, as officers, are committed to the protection of life and property, prevention of crime, and assistance to all citizens. This is just going to go over some of the stuff that we've accomplished over the past year since I started back in January. One of the first things was re-imaging of the department. Some of the things that we've done was the cruiser redesigns that you guys have seen. We upfitted the cruisers in-house to help save us thousands of dollars to where we could spend that money on other equipment that we wouldn't normally be able to buy. We created a new badge design, creating a personal attachment that promotes the history of the village, gives a sense of ownership and personalization to the officer. We've created more officer presence, community outreach, and as well as our social media outreach and our transparency. For community engagement, we conducted multiple outreach events. This is some of them. I know I probably missed a few, but to include Shop with a Cop, National Night Out, the Halloween Hide and Seek, the Hot Dogs and Penguins event, the Kegs for Cause dunking booth, Georgetown Elementary Halloween event, Christmas Day, community gifts outreach, Junior Police Academy, both fair Christmas parades, library events, donut event at McDonald's, the Light Ohio Blue with the Veterans Home across the state of Ohio. We had a few school assemblies at the high school and the elementary, both on bullying, sexual, electronic type crimes, and technology. So we had quite a bit of busy year last year pushing out our community outreach. For technological advances, I'll just explain this a little bit. Implementation of the village-wide camera systems for enhanced surveillance at main intersections and entries to the village. Back when we got the cameras put on the village here, we had got a crime over at the fairgrounds where they damaged, if you remember, they did a bunch of damage. We didn't have any suspects, no leads or anything. So one of the things we did, we just had this fresh security system here at the office. We came in the office and we pulled up all the criteria for people walking around the village late at night. Based off of that surveillance footage, we was able to develop suspects and ended up solving the crime and getting convictions out of that crime. After that unfolded, I came up with the idea of this would be great to have on the entry points of our village, our main entry points, our main intersections, things like that, where we would have surveillance that could surveil people walking or cars driving by. With that being said, I started to look at prices on putting surveillance videos up, and those prices were really crazy. They were $2,000 to $3,000 for one camera, just for one intersection. So I knew that wasn't going to be very feasible. So I decided to take the camera systems that we have here and the knowledge that I have of these and build our own. So out of donation money, I built a system that made around 2 to 3 cameras per intersection, and we started with the camera system at Ohio and Main Street, Mount Pike intersection. So if you see a big white box on the pole, that's just a surveillance system. I know there was some comments about people thinking it was like speed cameras and things like that. It's not a speed camera. It's strictly for surveillance purposes. Basically what that is if somebody burglarizes Domino's Pizza and they call in and say they just fled in a red truck, we can go back, pull the surveillance video of that intersection or any intersection that we have feeds at, and we can look for a red truck and hopefully attempt to get at least an identification that we can put on social media, or even further, some of the cameras are even so good that we can get license plate numbers as they drive by. So I took some donation money that we had, just to test it, to see if it was gonna be a pass or fail thing, because one of the things I was worried about was the cold weather, as if it would operate. We were down in the single digits and negative digits, and the system operated fine and stayed at 32 degrees minimum, which is perfect for that. So now I'm taking more donation money and building on that.
Can I stop you there for just a second?
Okay.
If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, Sean built the system himself from the ground up. There's these cameras that are called flock cameras that are extremely expensive. It's the whole concept of surveillance around your town, but crazy expensive. And instead, Sean got the idea of looking into these cameras and trying to find a better way to save the village money. And this was very inexpensive for what the value he gets from it, or we all get from it. So he has a very nice setup in there where it shoots on a TV, plus you can access it from his phone. So we're not trying to watch people, we're just trying to help solve some of these crimes and make sure that we're protecting the people in this village. So I think he certainly should be commended for that, because he did that from the ground up. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it definitely saved us a lot of money. I could get a total amount dollar once I get this second one built, but it's around $700 to $800 for the entire system.
Versus, what was a flock?
Flocks are, I want to think they're $3,000 a year per camera. So Flock's a little different. And Flock is something that I would like to look into in the future. Flock isn't a surveillance system. Flock is a license plate reading technology,
Right.
which is, it's a really good system, but I wanted to get it doesn't record video. So basically what Flock does is it's a United States-wide system. Basically, when a license plate goes by it, it takes a picture of that car, stores it in the system for 30 days, but it creates that image throughout the whole, United States. So, like Mount Orb has some flock cameras, even companies like Lowe's, things like that, they have flock cameras, and you can actually see who's driving the vehicle, the color of the vehicle, and you can even do search criteria. So if we had, like I said, again, red Ford truck just did a burglary or a murder in Domino's Pizza, we can get on the flock system and we can look at everybody who has Flock's cameras around the whole country, and you can actually do search queries to type in red truck during this time frame, and it'll pull up all the license plate numbers to that specific vehicle. But yeah, so the actual surveillance system, I want to do both at a certain time, but this is just strictly a surveillance system, and it costs us the whole entire thing with 3 cameras, the unit, the heaters, everything is right around $700 to $800, which is phenomenal, because you can't even get one camera for less than $300. And now everybody wants you, including Flock, it's a subscription-based service. Everybody wants you subscribed to everything. So with Flock, it's the same thing. You don't pay for the camera. You pay $3,000. I think it's $3,000 or $2,000, but anyway, you pay for that a year.
Started at 6, and
What's that?
it started at 6,000. It's dropped to 3,000.
Yeah,
so they are getting cheaper.
Yeah, I think the more people that get on board, the more cameras that are on it, the better it is. But yeah, but that's a yearly fee, so $3,000 times a year. It's not horrible, but I definitely want to. You're not able to surveil with it or scan people walking if you had suspects or something like that. So that's something we're building, and that's really helping us out a lot. Some of the technological advances that we've done is we've upgraded our body-worn cameras, software and docking to help streamline our ease of evidence management. I've done that, and again, some of the like Axon systems cost. I think I got a quote last month, and it was up almost $80,000 for 5 years, which you pay for they have really good quality and they pay for the name, but our system that we use does, for most part, the same thing, and I built it myself for $300. So that was a big help for us too. So we decided against trying to get the grant for that this year, just to see how this works, and it seems to be working out so far. Another thing we've done, we relocked all the locks on all the doors. I replaced all the door locks with digital door entries for fingerprints and key tags and things like that to help to secure the building. Any of the entryways that have electrical locks on creates an audit. So if you thumbprint it or scan your card, it creates a date timestamp audit, so we know who has access to the building at all times. Another thing that we purchased is a thermal drone for lost citizens fleeing and hiding suspects. That's something I'm still currently working on. We just got it insured, and I'm working on the training protocol for that. So hopefully we'll have that up and running in the next few months. We ordered some widescreens for our desks, which helped us for multitasking. The Synology drive we added is an in-house storage system, which kind of works hand in hand with the body cameras. We switched to an OLEG reporting system, which includes evidence, a whole evidence room, search queries, citation modules, property modules, inventory tracker to help streamline our reporting and charging processes, which results in less time officers being off the road and having a pain in doing their paperwork. Laptops to tablets in place of the laptops. It helps create more space in the cruisers. They're touchscreen. You can pull them out of the cruiser and you can use them to take pictures on scene. I think a normal laptop we usually pay around $2,500 for, and I was able to get these from a company for around $950. So it saves us money and it helps us do our job a whole lot easier. We added more pepper ball guns to the cruisers and single blast units to help with non-lethal de-escalation, safety and use of force, animal control, which reduces the risk and need for close contact. Our training and professional development, the officers completed a minimum of 40 hours of training, of mandatory training above and beyond what the state mandates of 24 state mandated hours. This resulted in reimbursement of training funds in the amount area of $7,500. So we'll be able to spend that money on specific training above and beyond what our training budget is. And that was provided back to us from the state. We added one new certified field training officer to assist with new officer trainings, totaling in 3, which is Captain Green, Sergeant Timmers, and Detective Pendleton. Other random training included the new chief's training I went to, detective training, evidence property room training, OVI instructor training, the Leading Blue leadership training, officer survival seminar, Marcy's Law training rights training. We received our certificates from the Ohio Collaboration Community Police Advisory Board. The collaborative sets best practice standards for policies such as use of force, including deadly force, bias-based free policing, employee misconduct investigations, and community engagements. Commendations for this year, we had Captain Green commended for exemplary actions on 3/13/24 for a spike strip deployment in front of the sheriff's office. Captain Green was also promoted to captain on 8/22/24 and received the Community Policing Award on 12/12/24. Patrolman Johnson, she won a Community Officer of the Year, which was picked by our community. And she also got a Life Saving Award and a Teamwork Award. Patrolman Luther, he got a 2024 Outstanding Excellence Award for excelling in the most mayor court cases and OVI arrests. Sergeant Timmers, she got promoted to sergeant on 8/22 and won a Teamwork Award with Brittany. Commendation she received for kindness in securing and paying for a hotel room for a veteran. And Detective Pendleton for his promotion to Sergeant Detective and 2024 Chiefs Award. Our operational statistics for 2024, our calls for service were 5142. Our total mayor's court offenses were 495. Incident reports made were 264. Crash reports were 45. Traffic stops or details were 1,092. We issued 549 traffic warnings. We did 50 lockouts. We did 13 emergency commitment evaluations. We had 41 domestic violences, 48 911 hang-ups, 2 auto larcenies, 3 weapons complaints, 60 suspicious persons, 35 suspicious vehicles, 9 trespassers, 28 disorders, 15 theft reports, and 18 utility notifications. And I'll say, along with that, there's hundreds of other categories, but those are categories that I felt was, stood out as that I felt it would be worth talking about. Challenges faced for 2024 that we had, we obviously had staffing shortage, which we just repaired today. We had 2 vacancies for the most of 2024, which impacted our workload and time off for other officers. Also created officers working shifts by themselves, as well as requesting help from the sheriff's office. A lot of that was due to the lower pay and shortages of offices in the area police academies closing, higher pay for departments in surrounding areas such as Claremont County. Implementing strategies to improve recruitment and retention, including salary adjustment, beard and tattoo policy, take-home and issue cruisers, upgraded equipment, more training, streamlining processes such as charges in our reporting systems, as well as making the police department a place where everybody can be heard and appreciated for the work they do. Our goals for 2025 is going to we're just going to continue to enhance community policing, increase officer presence at community events, whether we're invited or not. I wanted to add a coffee with a cop program, and I'm probably going to do that here in the next couple months, and that's just a place where we're going to drink coffee and people from the community can come in and meet the officers and meet the command staff. We're going to expand training opportunities and focus on de-escalation techniques, mental health crisis response, and school-related incidents. Implement training for advanced investigations and criminal deterrence, such as the possibility of a CVSA and a K-9 unit. A CVSA is a voice stress analysis similar to like a lie detector machine, which will help assist us in investigations and pre-hiring. Infrastructure improvements, obviously that's going on now. The remodel and adjustment to the new office areas for the police, remodeling the records room for the patrol and property room. Technological and equipment upgrades. We hope to implement a CVSA to assist in our investigations, including the village-wide camera setup, and investigate the possibility of flock, which we talked about. Continue to replace tablets, laptops with tablets, and future research and funding on the addition to a K-9 unit. Actually this week I'm going to be purchasing what's called a rapid radio. It's a secondary radio for police officers, and basically these are radios that we can contact each other more on a plain talk band it's not recorded, and it's basically like talking on your cell phone. If you don't know if you remember Nextel or walkie-talkies, but it gives us a direct line to each other. The school's going to have one, and Tara's going to have one. So basically all the officers will have communication within each other, within the administration offices, and within the school. Without having to use primary. Primary is a basic talk channel. To where if I have to request an officer, I have to contact dispatch and to have them to contact the officer to contact me, which is a very, not a very good way of direct communication. So that'll help with that. Got another thing I'm going to be applying for this week is the Ohio Vest Grant to replace our carriers and our ballistic vests. That was a 7-year grant that ends in June, so we're going to be putting in for that, and I'll keep you updated on that. Another goal is our recruitment and retention is just to stay competitive on benefits and more pay than our neighboring departments by staying on top of pay, and it will put us in a position to retain as well as get better applicants when a vacancy arrives. Vehicle maintenance and replacement, I just want to try and figure out a way to keep repairs down. We've partnered with the JVS. So on mid-range to minor repairs, we take our cars out there and they get to act like it's a shop, and they get a work ticket and they work on our cars, and it's overseen by the technician teacher there. But they don't charge us any labor for that. All we pay for is the parts, which we get a discount on parts as well through Napa. The last car we had when I implemented this ended up saving us thousands of dollars just on one car. So that's a big help and a cool partnership with them. And then another thing is just to find a way to equip and rotate out a minimum of 1 cruiser a year. As well as the maintenance and the replacement and stuff will all be overseen by me. Acknowledgement, we want to extend a gratitude to the mayor, the village council, and the community members for the continued support. Our collective efforts make Georgetown a safer and more vibrant place to live. And a special acknowledgement to our officers and support staff who work day in and day out to make this place the best place to work and live. And just a remembrance, in 2024, 147 officers were killed, 20 K-9 officers lost their lives in the line of duty. Respectfully, Chief Emily. I got nothing else.
Well, thank you for putting this together. This is very nice to see kind of your year in recap. And really, I like the portion about the goals and what you're working for in the next year. I think that's very helpful for all of us to really kind of keep in the back of our minds as we're working through some things for you as well. So I appreciate it. Any questions for Chief?
Yes, I have one. Your full-time officers now, counting yourself, how many do you have?
We have 9.
You have 9. So tonight they were both full-time?
Yes.
No part-time?
No, we don't have any part-time.
All right. Thank you.
Other questions? All right. Thank you again. Administrator?
Just a couple things tonight. Next week is kind of the kickoff meeting for this round of OPWC. So I'll be traveling to Waverly for the District 15 kickoff. They will also be meeting there to appoint a person to fill a spot on the National Resources Assistance Council. That oversees the Clean Ohio Fund, which we would like to utilize sooner or later to maybe purchase land adjacent to the park for expansion, and that funds that. So I've applied for that seat, and we'll see if I get selected for that next week. Streetscape, the schedule has been defined for moving forward. Design development will continue through mid-March. 90% construction plans will be done mid-May, 100% by the middle of June. So construction process will start July 1. That'll consist of, going out to bid. Most of the rest of 2025 will be the bidding process. Hopefully we'll have the bids ready to be selected by that first council meeting in August. And then there could be some small construction, at the end of 2025, but most of that will start March of 2026, and that is required by the grant to be completed by October 1st of 2026. So that is the schedule as we know it now for the streetscape. We have just set up today a conference call with John Kerry with the governor's office and representatives from Ross County to meet to discuss next steps on the visitor center. So that'll be Monday, so hopefully we'll get some information on how to proceed there. And I think that's all I have.
Any questions?
Is there anything on your radar that you're looking for as far as equipment or trucks or anything this year?
We do have a couple of pickup trucks budgeted, one for the street department, one for electric, so we're looking at those now. We may get a small truck. Water could use a small truck if we can find a good state bid pricing. We looked at getting state bid price on the Mavericks, but those are on hold right now, so we may look at that second half of this year, or we might just wait till next year on that.
Any other questions?
What's the construction you're talking about?
Streetscape, the green that we have for around the courthouse. Yeah.
Oh, and then we, hopefully we will be moving into the new offices over the next week, so, I would assume by the next council meeting, council will be able to enter through what is the squad door on the side. That'll be where council can enter before the meetings, and then we'll probably have executive sessions in there from now on.
So that room will essentially be kind of our area to go for executive session, and then you use the exterior door to come in there. Just we can't go in the back of the garage.
Yeah, that'll be
anymore.
leads certified there.
Yeah, so we won't have access. All right, anything else?
Actually got something.
Sure.
Councilman Hanselman was talking about that designated parking thing. I do got a question about designated parking during Fair Week. It's not too much trouble for anybody past probably the hardware store. All the residents on this side, we always have to tape off our driveways and our yards. And every year it rains at the fair. Anybody that's been here, lived in this town for over 5 years, knows it rains every year. And we've called sometimes to see if we could have vehicles towed that weren't supposed to be there. Tow companies say they cannot tow them because it's private property. So I'm just wondering, is there something that we can do to alleviate that? Because I couldn't even get in my driveway this year, and I was lucky enough to catch them when they were walking down the street. I said, hey, you gotta move your car.
Chief Enhill?
Yeah, so if they're parking on your private property, you can call us and we can come and tow it at your request, but we can go there and monitor that situation. The problem we have, and we have this every fair, is people cordoning off their driveways. You see it all through all town. When it comes to our enforcement on that, just because you put tape in front of the public driveways, we can't enforce that. Like, if they take your tape down and park there, it's a public, that's kind of what we talked about on the square.
Yeah.
You can put cones there, but people can move them and park there because it's a public way. Now, if they're parking under your yard or blocking your driveway or something to that effect, yeah, call us and we'll go down there. We'll make attempt to, we don't want to give nobody, we don't want to invite 100,000 people to the fair and then give everybody tickets. That's the word, I hate that. But we do still got to respect people's driveways and properties. So we try to make contact with them. Last case scenario is we end up towing them.
We usually tape off right up next to the road because it's a narrow road and it's that whole little section over there. The road's so narrow that they're gonna park probably the entire vehicle width in your yard.
Yeah, just call us when you have that problem. It's not a perfect situation when the fair comes here. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But we try to handle it case by case, and most people are pretty cooperative.
And that's another reason why we wanted to get rid of that little town road, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to park right there in your driveway. And the cars couldn't even get to their house.
Makes sense, but yeah, if you come upon that issue during the fair time, just reach out to the police department and they'll help you with it.
Okay, appreciate you.
Fantastic. Solicitor, anything for the group?
No, to the group.
All right, is there anything else that needs to be addressed in council tonight? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Councilmember Baki's made the motion, is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Campbell. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.